Good evening, race fans, and welcome into the round of 32 bracket stage for the Omnidextrous Memers Guild. Tonight, we are going to watch a fantastic race between JBrunTR and elvensorrow. This is game one of their three-game series. Tonight, I have with me in the booth Dubward on tracking, Joker Mage on restream, and joining me for commentary is Judge Joe. Judge Joe, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful. Really happy that it's tourney season again, and really excited to start watching some of these matches. Both these runners are fantastic. Really excited to see how they choose to approach the seed. It'll be wild.
I mean, they're already throwing shots across the port bow with these names coming in spicy with some of the talk in here. So I think they're ready to throw down.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be great.
Absolutely. You know, Jay Brun took the number one spot in eighth and was the drafter and drafted elvensorrow to come up against him. So that was pretty neat. So I think there's a little bit of extra spiciness because I imagine that you maybe take that as a sign of weakness. So elvensorrow is gonna put up some good times, hopefully, to show Jay Brun that maybe that wasn't the best thing to do. But nonetheless, yeah, no, really excited to see round of 32 kick off. Great, fantastic set of 32 runners that are going to be putting on a show for all of us in the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah. Any guesses as to what the starting bonus kit will be? I'm always a fan of the 50 bestiary kit. It's even better if it's 99 bestiaries.
But 100, that's too many. I love the 100 kits that are for completely useless things like unihorns or whatever, and you're just like, I guess that's a thing.
99 spears.
You know, that's when you just get an edge and you do every fight really slowly and purposefully.
Can you even dart the spear?
That's actually a good question. I'm sure some madman out there has tried to do it. But I digress. You know, I think what do you think is a really good opening play here? I think the two that you really see are either going for Evelyn Castle, trying to get some early gear, or maybe trying to take some of those easy checks. Antline, Hobbs, see what your character are. What do you think we're going to see tonight?
I really can't say. It's incredibly dependent on what is our starting kit and what is our starting key item, because both of those can provide a lot of power that can just, and even what is our second character. You can have an Edge, you can have a Sid, you can have Iridia. Vastly different, but yeah, the two things I would expect is either some Eblin loot into one or two or even all three of the trap chests, or if we have a little bit of power, might try and hit that top area, get a third character from Hobbs, check the freebie in Troya, check Flame Dog, and once you got a party, just roll through Eblin. And I see we have the double white mage start.
Oh, you called it. 50 bestiaries.
Well, it's not 99, but I don't know that these runners are the happiest to see that.
Can't stare a gift horse in the mouth. Well, the seed said you can start with a Rosa or a Porum. How about you start with both? Can't decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think,
I'm definitely expecting probably a double Eblin loot.
Yeah, Pinktail kind of has that promise of potentially picking up a nice piece of gear before you dive your hook. That's kind of the nice thing with a hook route is you're going to get the opportunity to turn it in. But in the meantime, you got to get to that hook.
Oh, nope. We are seeing a freaky item. It can always be the Earth Crystal, and something I haven't seen often. We have a Barren Town loot.
Very interesting. Something a little bit different. I want to say
that's big.
Yeah, that's huge. Once again, that Flame Dog, and if you see an early Ruby too, Fire Sword. You know,
that's pretty solid. Icebrand Fire Sword will be able to handle some things.
Eddie, alas, only giving us this hat, no longer needs it while he's recuperating, but it's a good hat, a tiara.
Oh, if you see an Edge or any other mage, that tiara is big. And we have the public treasury. But yeah, with that samurai armor, with the Ice Brand Fire Sword, can definitely see a Flame Dog play. Try and get that hook early. Maybe see if you can then turn in the Pink Tail and get X-Cow, Crystal Sword, or an Avenger are the big ones before clearing up. That will really help with Evelyn clear speed.
And remind me, Joe, with Tiara, I know it gives you defense versus dragons, but does it give you mage defense? Would it be helpful against those mad ogres, per se?
I don't believe it gives you mage defense,
Hmm.
but it gives you lightning resist and dragon defense, and then with its 10 wisdom is the best mage armor.
All right. Well, both runners proven us wrong here. Neither heading to Eblin. Quick public treasury check all around from different castles, and we've got JBrun equipping what he's picked up and getting ready to go up Hobbs.
Yeah. Currently not the best selection of weaponry, so would definitely be looking for a little bit more, but has some solid armor, so should be able to get through. And that
Ooh.
Rydia can kind of mean one or two things for a lot of runners. Either it's with a Leviathan or a Bahamut orb, has potential to be one of our main sweepers for Sylph or other trap chests, or just with the 4 agility is incredibly easy early game to just keep her down and guarantee you an anchor, which is one of the other things you need to do, say, Sylph trap chests easily.
And seems like Evil Wall made the decision pretty quick for JBrun, but also making the decision generally that that weaponry, like you said, leaving a lot to be desired and not going to make it through quite yet.
Yeah, we should see a lot more damage with the Ice Brand Fire Sword combination. So if Elvin wants this third character, with knowing Rosa and Baron in will not be another character because we have the no dupes flag on, we'll definitely expect to see this fully done.
Yeah, a little bit of a beneficial knowledge that you can pick up from that early Baron dive. You can pick up some loot. Most people are probably going to take Baron in early anyways. Fairly easy check, but you kind of know, is that a dupe? And maybe you can make the decision to fade it if you pick up a hook somewhere else.
Yeah, 555 damage from Rosa. Significantly higher than what we were seeing from that Archer Charm combination. And we have D-Lunars. Actually, this is one of the best bosses we could see on JBrun's side. We have 13 Gear 2s, that's about 300 damage each, so, or in this case, 400 if it rolls high, so can just 2 to 3 to 4 Tier 3s, or 2s, and you're through the fight.
Always a good time to see a one-shot on a Gear 2.
It wasn't quite a one-shot, but worked with just that 150 from Rosa to deal with that first one.
All right, well, with Antlion down, we're picking up the other
tails.
That makes it that much easier to make that stop at the Adamant Cave before going hook route.
One stop and then transfer, and you're done with the hovercraft real early this seed. Won't be going back and forth with that thing. And we see Lil High Five, JBrun heads out, Elvin heads in, but with the addition of the Rydia, I just waiting to see what's from Flame Dog. That with that Ice Brand and the Rydia should be very, very doable.
Absolutely. I think Flame Dog can be a little tricky. It punches a little hard, and those fires do decent damage, but with an Ice Brand and a little bit of pep in your step, maybe hopefully a bandana or headband, not too tricky to get through, and a decent little bit of experience on the way, too.
Yeah, I found out if there's no split XP, if you do Antlion, Hobbs, Fabul, Flame Dog, and Baron in 1, Forum actually can learn Berserk from that. So, as long as there's no split XP bosses, which so far there haven't been, that's definitely one way to get Berserk out there without visiting Eblin or Ordeals.
I think another aspect of especially a Porum start is do you potentially fade things like Antline, maybe trying to get the experience up to exit before you go back? That's, I think, a little bit of a divisive topic
Yeah.
amongst runners. I've definitely seen both sides.
I definitely would like to see Rydia swap to the center if we do Flame Dog for Elven, just because even if you're not RA1 with it, you're guaranteed to be at least RA2, I would expect, which means you'll take the Flame, you're gonna live that, it's fine, and you should almost certainly be able to get the kill before any of those punches start ruining our day, which we also do have a fair bit of defense, so it should be fine, but at least on Rosa's end.
Speaking of ruining our day, this Evelyn loot on JBrun's side so far has been pretty paltry. Just picking up, Flame Spear and Ice Brand, which Elvin's already picked up other locations, but nothing really, really kind of nice that you'd like to see there. Like maybe a Ruin Ring for that defensive pep.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about the trap chest, just because of all the stats effects. Double shield is pretty nice, some solid defense and evasion rolls, but it takes a couple pieces of the right armor levels to really turn you into an evasion master.
Alas, that Bluster seemingly has plenty of accuracy to get you through, and now JBrun making the decision to try and
Zeus
sit through
Gauntlet,
that.
that's plus 10 strength, so should be able to really start hitting those higher numbers on Elvin's side. Should be enough with his additional levels and weaponry to start hitting that, say, 600 damage you need on those Black Cats.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's getting a little bit of offense can be tricky sometimes, especially in the early game. But those Black Cats will, as JBrun's showing, kind of get the better of you if you're not able to one-shot them. Oh, wow, Zeus Gauntlet and a Strength Ring. That's a really nice pickup, actually. Well, looks like Elvin
looks like we're going for
Duke.
paralysis procs, which, if we're fast enough, should be a way to prevent counters. So we'll see if that helps fix it. We don't take any damage, so we just need to avoid insta-kill or be charmed and do enough damage for Rosa to get rid of herself. Oh no.
Ooh. That's an unfortunate one. Kind of went for those procs. Now, maybe this is selfishly for myself because I'm learning here, but also for the folks at home. When it comes to speed on the procking, are you really looking more for your RA and anchoring, or is it really just actually the raw speed of the character themselves that's swinging?
So it depends. If you have hourglasses, if you are RA1 with an anchor and throw an hourglass with that character, that should have most of them then be stuck at the ability to proc with weaponry. However, otherwise you need to have the enemy not be RA1, so you need to have your anchor character be fast enough to deal with the enemies. And at which point it's a matter of timing it so the hits go right after the enemy takes an act.
Well, Elvin getting a decent roll there with elements, especially with the elemental weapons that he's picked up. Make short work of the Ruby phase, and a Luca key for his troubles. Potentially one of those checks that isn't so great. Unfortunately, Warp Glitch is off, so you can't cheese it, but it's still there to kind of run through. And you have a boss check, you have a key item, but it's a little long sometimes.
Yeah, it's very fast to see what it is, but if it's progress, however not important or guaranteed important progress, that's where things get tricky. The Baron key is a big one, because do you want to walk out the Baron key, or are you going to just decide, it can't hurt me, I'll be fine, and just leave the Baron key there?
Yeah, that's always the play with those checks. If you pick up that chaining item and you're like, how desperate am I? Especially, I guess we do have Iridia. Maybe you get a little bit of levels to get warp to make that trip a little bit faster. But certainly a risk here when you are maybe looking at her to be an anchor, as Elvin set her up to do so far, letting her take a very protracted nap.
Yeah, and we have in the first spot of ordeals, which we see Elvin heading there pretty early. I think, unless I missed it, I think he's even doing it before Fabul. But
Hmm.
this one will provide a couple different things. Should be enough XP to get Berserk on Quorum, which will help with clear speed of Eblin, clearing pretty much just everything from this point. Oop. And two, it's at least this first spot is pretty nice, easy, so it'll just really get you through and get you ready.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people look at the Dark Imps and think, hey, free boss, but with J items off for this tournament, they're not quite as free as you'd like. And especially in some of those punchy spots, like one of our objectives here, Complete Cave Bahamut, it's really nice to not have them be up there because 3 really solid punches every single turn can be very dangerous very quickly.
Ooh, and we see, it looks like we got a little bit of plus agility gear. That honestly might be Assassin Dagger Black Sword. Wait.
Oh, no.
Oh. Oh, wait.
That's a good roll. Come on.
Wait. Okay, Gear 2.
Goes for the
Looks
safety.
like we just need to not get crit for the most part. Wait. Gear 2 not? Oh.
I think it may have been a missed target there. That is really unfortunate on JBrun's side.
Mute Knife Black Sword, but
Mm-hmm.
that plus agility on Rosa is just enough for at least those first 2, while they're kind of buffering each other and Rosa a little bit to get the swoon procs, and then with the Mute Knife can do a decent damage to get the third if you can just tank just enough at that point. And we have back attack orbs. With physical damage and back row glitch on, it's not a threat at all. But if you were, say, relying on virus at this point, would definitely be a tricky fight.
Yeah, CPU always a snooze fest. It always seems to drag on, but with this flag set and the ability to kind of really set yourself up to be the ultimate Zerker, you can kind of get away with a lot more against this boss than you normally would with, like you're saying, a mage party, especially this early.
Good adaption. With the fact that we're mostly swoon procking at least the early ones, we're equipping the Aegis Shield for guaranteed for that mage resist, so we're guaranteed only taking one as long as it's on. So that'll get you through those first 2 if you can time it, and then if you can get the timing, can work for the third, or you should, with what we saw from the last fight, be able to maybe pivot back to the Mute Knife and do a little damage. Yeah, I think this last one just doesn't have enough actors, or we're just not going to be fast enough to get the swoon proc. Ooh.
Oh, wow. A
Whoa.
Darkness Crystal from Ordeals, which is maybe more traditionally a fade in this flag set with Omnidextrous, meaning you don't necessarily need that Cecil upgraded, but that is a big pickup for Elvin.
Yeah, that darkness there means a couple different things. One, it's an objective with Cave Bahamut. 2, boy, is there a lot of checks up there on the moon. And 3, it means outside of the Pan or Tower Key being on the moon, we know for a fact the Magma Key is going to be underground because it's Force Hook.
Mm-hmm. Gives you that little bit more knowledge on where one of your objectives are, while also picking up another one, like you were saying. And also kind of makes you think, how soon do I turn around and do those moon checks? Always a tricky check, especially with K-Moon and K-Trap on, and a whole lot of trap chests out there.
Yeah, also opens up a couple different plays, like an early hairdryer. He could go, and if you have, say, a Thunderclaw or any sort of hammer, go and check the last arm for maybe a sneaky little early last arm check. Those kind of one trap chest in one area, they're guaranteed to potentially have a key item. Not, they might not, but they're guaranteed to be able to have a key item, which you can't say is the case for all of the 9 trap chests in the LST.
Well, Jay Brun, while we were chatting, I finally got through those ogres, and for the long slog that was picked up, possibly, potentially, arguably the best sword in the whole game, a crystal sword. Probably not even arguably. So probably quite happy with that reward.
In this flag set, the Avenger very much has its kind of takes its place as the best, but it is one of the best stat sticks with its high starting weapon power and plus 15 strength.
Elvin finally making his way over to Fabul, showing us just a singular blue robe, which, while not our objective of the gauntlet that we're looking for, does mean if we see another blue robe, it will be the gauntlet. So a nice little bit of knowledge to pick up there.
Yeah, especially if you say go and do Zot, see there's a blue robe, you know you have to do. If you go, you can go in maybe just, if you don't feel like doing Dwarf, you can just peek the spot, see if there's a blue robe, just can open up a couple things, speed up some of those face checks.
And with JBrun finishing up the skeleton Staleman chest, unfortunately, looks like Evelyn is going to be a zonk now. I think some people would argue that a crystal sword is not quite a zonk, but no key items to be had in Evelyn Castle.
Still has one more trap chest.
Oh, that's right.
That crystal sword should provide the power needed for this one for JBrun.
Apologize, I forgot we still had the Black Cat Lamia.
But we did find the hook from Fabul, so there's our underground access. We have our moon access. Seeds wide open.
Now it's a big question of where do you want to be and where do you think that value is?
Would generally expect to head underground, do Lower Babel at a minimum, probably at least the Fame Arch, maybe, and then depending on what we've got at that point, then decide whether you want to stick and do some more Earth stuff or head to the moon. Getting the Magma Key underground early will help maybe potentially push to the moon, because it means you at that point have no guiding knowledge on any of the key items, but all depends on what we get and where. Ninja shirt, that's some solid defense and a little bit of plus agility. And for our arty arrows,
You jinxed it again.
yeah, it's not me, it's the flag set.
I don't know how you blame those 50 bestiaries though. You've got some clairvoyance tonight, Joe. Arty arrows, I think that's probably one of the more tragic stories in this flag set. Usually such a handy piece of equipment, especially with the dragon hits, but alas, bow and arrows are very unfavorable going into here. All right, well, Elvin, having wrapped up pretty much all the other checks we have on the overworld, finally making his dive into Evelyn Castle. Has that Rydia been keeping her down, but she can do a little bit of anchoring for him in these checks. Getting the bad news that those chests are perhaps just a little more of a bummer, but hopefully with the extra levels he picked up from doing those overworld checks, make things a little bit easier when it comes to the traps.
Oh yeah, especially with this party getting berserk will make the overworld easier. We have a crystal sword. I don't expect JBrun to have any more problems. The big thing to look at will be if he decides to do ordeals at some point. It's not guaranteed to be necessary. There could be every other objective on Earth and the pass, but that is asking quite a lot from the sea. We have Rosa levels, so probably don't quite have Berserk, but should get there soon.
Yeah, I think that's one of those interesting decisions that sometimes you have to make is while getting through those chests early are a little more tricky, as we saw JBrun kind of struggle with one or two of those. Picking up that crystal sword will make an absolute breeze out of the rest of these checks. So it almost balances out a little bit.
Yeah. One thing to look for and keep in mind when we have Bible sword. That's could be nice. It's one of the best weapons for mages because it provides both +5 agility and 5 wisdom, so helps you get fast enough even if your anchoring's maybe not the best, but also provides that little bit of buff you might need. At least black mages. It does have -5 will for the white mages we seem to be rocking at the moment. Hook was at Fabul, so should be seeing JBrun getting that shortly.
Now, this party is leaving a little bit to be desired, especially in the HP department, kind of going into the hook route. I think it can get real tricky, especially with that king-queen spot. So I'm very curious to see who our hook route character is and if we get a little bit of a boon out of them.
The big thing to be worried about is route. We don't currently really have a method for doing that. If we had a Drain Sword, about 150 more health on Rosa, and a way to guarantee a Berserk before the second Dark Wave and before Porum dies from the first Dark Wave, then that's one way. Or if we can just get 2 people for 650. Otherwise, with that ninja shirt, I think we have enough defense. We should be getting Blink. So for a lot of bosses, we should be able to handle them. But DKC is spooky.
Yeah, certainly one of the spookier slots for DKC to roll. And there certainly is a plethora of them, but I think we've all kind of gone toe-to-toe with them in that spot and had to figure out how exactly am I going to manage this.
There is no shame in going to the configurations, turning random encounters to on.
Yeah, or turning your battle speed all the way down if you just need a little bit. They call it Wyvern Standard Time, but I think DKC makes a really good point to call it DKC time from time to time. Ooh, that was a lot of times.
But looks like Elven wasn't feeling comfortable with the ability to one-shot skip the chest, but with that crystal sword in hand, should blow right through it.
I think one of the other nice things I hadn't noticed on JBrun's side, but I did see on Elven, there was a dwarf axe in one of the chests in Evelyn. What that means is that while Iridia starts with 4, we can now sink her all the way down to 1 to guarantee RA1. And with these 2 white mages, then a lot. But I think both of our racers have really been stacking Rosa. And I don't know about yourself, but I think I would have a thought to putting Porum on top so you can get that blink, that berserk out real quick, and then let Rosa do her punching.
Yeah, self berserk is very much a thing in this Plague set. Very powerful. Might go and just go blink into self berserk if you need that little bit more safe methodology. I think if you want, I think Self Berserk is probably more optimized just because it means Rosa takes her turn doing that rather than having to kind of spend a full round of both Rosa plus Aurum to get the single Berserk out, but we'll see. And we do see JBrun fading ordeals for a bit, so that could be an important factor in the race. Buyable bandanas and the Dragon Whip both are very good, and that's an annoying boss.
Very annoying, especially since we haven't picked up that Leviathan or Bahamut summon, as you were mentioning. We have real no sweeping ability, so it's going to be a lot of really well-timed hits to make sure we can get through all those dolls without turning into Big Doll.
And honestly, if with the strength gear, with the weaponry, Big Doll might be easier.
Not a
if
bad point.
you have a
it
way
is
to
feared.
not get charmed. That's the big worry.
I think one of the other interesting plays here is that JBrun, when he took his wipes in Eblin, did lose that rat tail he'd picked up in Antline, so didn't get a chance to turn that in. Did turn in the pink tail though, so I think that sets up another interesting situation. Probably thinking, hey, I've got at least ordeals, maybe a Baron Key Earth Crystal from underground that I'll do. Got to come back up above ground anyway, so kind of can get it done then.
Yeah, it's hard to say whether, going back for a rat tail is a tough call. We're back rowing Arcane, and getting him set up. Looks like we're keeping him just a secondary Zerker for now, but we'll see when or if that ends up changing on either of these runners' side. Pan!
That is a fantastic pickup on the hook route. It always stinks running Sheila twice, and now you don't have to worry about that because you already have it in hand, and maybe that drives you towards that self-cave check. At least, you're going to have the Frog Lady, too.
Yeah. We don't have a great method of doing the poison half ghost chest, but the only requirement for the Toad Lady chest is really just about 3,000 HP of damage, and with a mute knife and a crystal sword shouldn't be too much of a problem to get that. And then at that point, toads just sit there and just need to get poked a couple times. Because there's 6 of them.
Turns out toads need very clear directions to do their toading.
You'll be sitting through kind of lots of empty little pauses when it comes to the toad's turn, just because it goes and it kind of hits their action. It's like, oh, it's time for us to get told to do anything. Or not. Moving on.
We are very attentive. That is a whole lot of Mad Ogres on our screen, but making very quick work of them. Crystal Sword, Mute Knife, I didn't stand a chance. That being said, picking up a Kain, one of the better Zerkers, can do really good work for you, but does start at a really low level since he is a starting character. So picking up a couple life glitches here, hopefully will get him to a real nice XP level.
Yeah, he has one of the Zerkers you'll often see. He has a nice combination of solid strength stat and a pretty decent agility. So with the ability to equip loads of gear that can really ramp up your strength, he's definitely a solid Zerker with his agility stat. And there's Bahamut. Now with give Rydia some levels, get a 5th character or a Drain Spear, and we do have a way to get through the poison side, but we'll see what the runners choose to do. Mute Knife. So if you didn't have anti-mage, you do now.
Yeah, it makes for a very interesting situation. I think what's interesting with Rydia's, especially if you picked up some ethers, you could potentially just give her just enough levels to get to that 60 MP so she can cast Bahamut. And then, like you said, a Drain Spear and Drain Silver to put her right back down to 1 agility. The nice thing is traditionally you would anchor, you'd kind of drag down with a Curse Ring, which also drags all your other stats down. You know, a Drain Spear and a Drain Sword will leave her Wisdom intact, so she still will do some pretty good damage.
It doesn't leave. I know it drops strength at minimum. In addition to agility, it might also drop wisdom, but you can counteract it by just unequipping the. Just when it hits Rydia's turn, you unequip it, and then any negative stats effects go away as long as it's not equipped. So that's definitely something you can do if you have a black mage as your anchor with those weapons.
Well, Mylon Z in the dreaded King Queen spot, thankfully with that Crystal Sword, not much of a problem. Interesting enough, who knew that dolls would be the more troublesome spot here?
Yeah, if the cane got strong enough, there is hope to going and avoiding big doll. If you have Rosa, say, chip away at those back ones, and that cane's not quite there. But you have Rosa chip away at the back ones, then you get a Zerk and hopefully get like 4 big swings to really clean up before you get to front, but we'll see.
Yeah, and
Could
this is
also consider blinking the front one. But looks like we're just going for summon the big doll for Elven's side.
Yeah, and this is where you feel really bummed out that that Bahamut Orb came dead last in your trap chest check, because you could have spiked those levels, and I'm pretty sure Bahamut Summon would have taken all of these down pretty well for you.
Yep.
Yeah, Elven going for the not often seen YOLO play on the dolls.
Okay. One more. No. Just missed it.
Good target on that charm.
Good target on the charm.
Fantastic. Played out really well. I think it helped having 2 Zerkers there, because even if one of the other ones would have gotten taken, that only took 1 more punch, so down goes the big doll for Elven, and he is first through our hook route, though hot on his heels is JBrun.
Yeah, definitely fun seeing both runners hitting the hook route at this close. Antlion, so that those black swords can come big because hitting enemy weaknesses takes priority over hitting enemy kind of strengths defensively. So the Octoman may resist the Crystal Sword, but is weak to the Black Sword. So if you equip both, you get the Crystal Sword's strength plus the Black Sword's weakness, and it doesn't get weakened from the resistance to Holy that Octoman has.
Interesting. It sounds like that works similar to how status effects kind of have a tier list as well, you know, kind of casting Piggy before going into Golbez, if you will.
Yeah, so other times you might see that in play is with Flame Dog. You want a second weapon or something, but it might be, say, an Earth Hammer or a Fire Sword with a Fire Elemental, so as long as you have anything ice, even say an Ice Claw, should be enough to help counteract that defensive property. And we have the Baron Key.
Yes, both runners just doing a good old up and down with the Falcon, going right up the tower and picking up the much maligned Baron Key in the first chest.
It'll be interesting seeing who checks it. And with that Baron Key coming from underground, it's yet another place available to have the Magma Key for these runners. So, might push it higher in priority, or might not.
I think the other thing that makes it interesting is, as we were talking about, JBrun didn't do ordeals. Probably still will remember that rat tail's sitting there, even if he did fade it initially. So having a few more checks on the overworld may mean he does that Baron check, whereas Elvin, who wrapped up everything else and has that darkness in hand.
And there's Twin Harp, so that's likely going to be second or third objective we see. Depends on how quickly we rush it versus doing some of these underground checks and maybe picking up the Magma or Forge.
Yeah, really nice tower so far, picking up 2 key items in here. Especially one of our objectives. Thankfully, both of our runners really leaning into the Memers Guild part of our tournament here and doing keyless tower. May have been purposeful.
Yeah, with the objective, it's never necessarily a bad play. I do enjoy checking at least, if I think I have a good way through it, checking at least the Fey March with its 2 pretty quick checks just to see if there's a tower key. Might even check Luca if I feel strong enough, but definitely not real with those trap chests and the objective. It's probably not worth fading for too long.
Very much agree. There's a lot of opportunities for value as we've seen pay off here, but nothing makes you grow faster than picking up that tower key shortly after.
Let's see if Elvin ends up having that black on with the crystal sword. I think that's what JBrun's been kind of running around with as a secondary weapon, so should be no problem there, but I don't recall what the second weapon for Elvin's been.
That's just that ice brand.
Ice brand. So we'll really see a significant bump in damage if we get that black sword. As you can see from 7,000 versus 1,000.
Yeah, it really shows that despite having all the access in the world to power overwhelming, knowing your strats, knowing your weaknesses really still pays off in this flag set.
Yeah, because the big thing is it's kind of going from half damage to double damage, so it's definitely a ×4. And boy, is there required stuff in this tower.
Yeah, Tower of Power today with a 3rd key item, another objective item, the Legend Sword from the top spot, along with that objective.
So these runners are kind of free key items. The big thing, if an Earth Crystal shows up soon, that's, at least on Elvin's side, will be very, very big, because he should be able to just... Earth and Adamant Rock show up soon. Then you will full clear underground, you will probably do Baron, anything that came, just because it's very, very likely that's where the Magma Key is. Although, again, we're missing that tower key. That still from the moon could be the Magma Key. Looks like we're about ready to check the pan stuff, so we'll have to see if JBrun goes and does the Toad Lady along the way.
Yeah, JBrun filling that pan, burn a hole in his pocket. Also another opportunity with K Summon off to pick up a really nice weapon. You can spike another Crystal Sword, maybe an X-Cal there, and finish fitting your team out.
Do we have the Mute Knife? No.
Ooh, unfortunate. Relying on that Crystal Sword and didn't quite do it, unfortunately.
Need to get to 3,000. So this fight will never kill you, but without, say, Earth Hammer or Stardust Rod to just keep on using, but we do have a heal pot. It's gonna be could be tricky to.
It won't kill you, but as a speedrunner, it will kill you inside.
Fine.
There we go.
This fight will never kill you until you berserk. However, with Rydia being our anchor, we will never berserk the Toad Lady.
Yeah, and it's it's an interesting situation because both of the runners taking that top of tower did have an opportunity to pick that Rydia up, maybe let her get some levels for that Bahamut orb, but both choosing to really commit to that anchor, and both in a situation where that Bahamut really would have paid off.
And we see Elven heading over to the Fey March with its 2 key item checks and a quick double boss check. With that Mute Knife, we should have more than enough power to deal with the Gauntlet if it shows up there.
Yeah, I think with this flag set, really, the tier 5 really offering quite a plethora of Ruin Axes, Mute Knives, until it doesn't, right? That Fey March Fabul Gauntlet actually feels really nice. You can carve up those summoners pretty quickly. Same with Baron Basement as well.
Yep. As long as you're... There's the Magma Key. Well, no reason necessarily to stay on Earth other than it could have other important key items, but we no longer know where anything is.
That being said, just like that, 4 objectives open to our runners, leaving just 2 more that they need to pick up. Either find that Fabul Gauntlet, find that Earth Crystal, or find that Adamant Rock. Feeling like a really fast seed so far.
Ooh, and are we going? Looks like we are not seeing if there's anything fun from the King Queen Evelyn fight. Could always be an Avenger.
Very true, and I think that's another one of those really interesting ones. You see that free fight, you won't get a key item, but man, it is really sweet to spike that. But sometimes when you see that Ninja Star pop up, you have some regrets. Talk about a gamble.
So JBrun has the pan set up, has done the Toad Lady, and is heading to the Fey March, and now Elven kind of reversing each other's steps here. Do we see a Toad Lady? Yes. But yeah, we just need any 2 of 3 objectives, with the Earth Crystal, the Adamant, each being an objective, or finding the Gauntlet, which we're currently only missing 3 locations, so very high chance that we do have access to the Gauntlet. Those items could be anywhere. We still have Dwarf, we still have back half of Sylph, we have anywhere on the moon. What places are you thinking about doing once you turn in the pan, assuming there's nothing from the pan?
Well, the benefit of having the Twin Harp is it is an objective, still a key item check, so there's always that kind of cross your fingers and hope. But knowing how long that Baron feels, it still kind of makes me interested because you have the throne spot, you do have the basement, you don't have a pass, so you're a little apprehensive about going to the moon too soon, especially if that is your path to Z. Coming back and going back up really feels kind of crummy. But here we see elvensorrow picking up the crystal ring, and JBrun about to pick up that magma key, and I think we are somewhat admonished by chat for not saying the line.
That was easy 5. We're now 2 tourneys past that. We don't have to say the line anymore.
But the memes, Joe, the memes.
Well, that's why it's an objective. We'll wait to maybe we can wait until it's thrown into the well.
There we go. Let's lean into the new meme of, well, that's gone. Let's make that the meme. Let's be the change you want to see.
Nope. Both
Yeah.
runner. Oh wait, are we checking the sparkle, or just taking a little minute to remember? Oh, are we out of MP for exit?
Yeah, it might be the case.
Or might have just remembered there's some shops and JBrun wants to check. We'll see. But we're here, we're ready to turn in the pan, and then should be heading straight on over to Twin Arp from there. We'll see what pops up. It could be go mode.
You know, I think the other interesting thing is Elvensorrow now at 10 key items. So, you know, that moon gets a lot more appealing right there because it does mean that those are going to be some really nice levels.
Sand Ruby could be a better sweeper. But our party is also pretty good right now.
Yeah, you've got all the gear in the world for your 2 punchers and 2 white mages. You know, I think that's one of the things we'd mentioned with J items being off. You don't have access to the Bacchus wine, which is so nice, but 2 white mages, 2 sources of Berserk makes up a lot.
Yep, and we're heading to one of my favorite, like I said, is the music hard required? It sure could be.
There's a lot of opportunities for it, but you know, with so many key items being on the overworld, you're starting to wonder a little bit like, what, you know, is there a likelihood to get some rolls on the moon? And I think this late in the seed too, I'm starting to get a little nervous about where that gauntlet is. Sorry, I tucked over the new meme.
Especially on Elven's side, that darkness was super early. I would be very interested and maybe slightly worried about checking that hair dryers and last arm because those are just so potentially there's great potential of having one of the key items in those because we're down to 5 missing key items.
Well, I think another interesting aspect, Joe, as a runner, but I think we'll probably have to delve into it after music because we're getting real close here. Spoony B, you've been sitting around all seed, haven't been showing up, so I hope you got a good song for us, especially only give us a hat. So we will do what comms do when music comes up and let y'all enjoy.
And we're back. Getting just an arty bow. So now we have Sid's best weaponry and bow, Artemis Air. Wait, wrong flag set.
And no Sid to be found, unfortunately, anyways. But
we see Elven doing Baron, so that'll be that's a big play. Having gotten darkness from a kind of gambly area of ordeals is also doing another gambly area with Baron.
Yeah, really sticking to the overworld, especially with that darkness crystal. What I was going to bring up before we hit harp is, I think what would be interesting is if you're JBrun Joe and you see that darkness crystal from a late ordeals play, do you feel behind thinking that your opponent maybe made that early ordeals play and could be on the moon?
I definitely feel behind. I know it doesn't have to, but I still think it's pretty likely that there are at least 2 objectives somewhere on the moon. Ignoring Cave Bahamut, that doesn't count. But, so I would definitely be tempted to find some way of going and maybe skipping some of the moon, but hopefully not required stuff on the moon. Would definitely want to see Last Arm and Hair Dryers, though.
Golba is feeling like he just can't get good help these days, dismissing Kenazo and taking the Baron throne for himself.
Yeah, no Heron robes. We do have a crystal ring, so that provides some safety. But we don't have it equipped.
We do have Rydia already down Silver Lining.
2 ordeals. JBrun is down to Sylph with no sweeper. Ordeals. Dwarf. Or Baron. So has decided in this and I guess he also does have Antlion and Tail, but has decided in these circumstances with those choices that Ordeals is the place to go. And he probably is right.
Yeah, I mean, you've already come up, you're committed to the Sheila check, might as well do Ordeals. I certainly would before Baron, much shorter at this point when you're leveled. I think the interesting situation is it...
do we have lightning resist? Ooh. When was the last time we saved? Come on.
I think we're right outside.
Ooh, no. But we're going back in.
Yeah, knows the strats. I think... I certainly do forget sometimes that is a pretty high magic spot, and those spells will tickle quite a bit.
I hope he either thinks to set up Piggy, Mini, a couple different ways, or chooses to equip the crystal ring and 2-person it. Could use the previous fight to set up, but that's very big, and with JBrun getting the darkness crystal, these runners are about to just be even right on back up. And if there's no value and JBrun chooses to fade it, he's very much back in it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself.
2 crystal rings. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That was the Toad Lady and the...
2 crystal rings and a ribbon.
Nobody goes down. Probably punch him down before he even takes his first spell now if you line it up just right with some fire.
So should be seeing JBrun leaving Ordeals about 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes before Elven is done with Baron. So yeah, no, it's... If the question of is there value in Baron is very big.
Mm-hmm. And JBrun's going to have a really interesting choice where you're going to have that darkness crystal and you've got to decide, are you going to finish the overworld and underground, or do you take that value and kind of lean into it?
Which he's already done all of the kind of nice, easy checks of the overworld and underground. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, this is really when you get to the turning point in this flag set of when you've kind of cleared out all the really obvious stuff and you're starting to having to pick your gambles or having to pick your checks.
I'm a big fan of the moon, but I'm all with no Feymarch summon spots in play. You gotta do your fun fights when you can. Although this Golbez is certainly a fun fight.
Another one of those ones similar to CPU that just makes you die inside because of how long-winded he happens to be.
Yeah, might have liked to see an attempt to try kind of quick get rid of Kane, but just to ensure Rose is alive and ready to, to remove Golbez from the fight. Could also probably gotten away with just life potioning. As we can see, would have gotten the turn Rosa up and should one-shot with Rosa. But where's JBrun go? To the moon.
Or to the giant, perhaps.
It's close enough.
Yeah, that last arm check. I mean, the giant really turns.
I would expect hairdryers to Cave Bahamut into the last arm, but other routes are definitely viable and work. Just because that could, if you find Gauntlet at Cave Bahamut, if you find a required key item in both spots, no character. If you find, then just, if you get both your objectives there, you're done. You don't have to, well, I mean, this requires the pass, but you don't have to go and fly back to the moon in any way. So, yeah, it also could just come down to moon routing. Like, maybe the stuff JBrun checks, which starting with last arm isn't important, and Elven, even if he comes to the moon later, just goes to the value sooner. And there's value.
Wow, that is a really big pickup. Also another check and some characters, because alas, another dupe Rosa. So our 5th, 6th, and 7th character quite elusive in this seat.
If we get a sweeper, that definitely opens up Sylph into play. We might just be seeing Elven do all of the Earth checks and JBrun do all of the Moon, and it comes down to, is objective 7 on Moon or Earth?
It's a little bit of a feeling of kind of lean into your gambles. You made the gamble with Baron, you picked up the Earth Crystal, an objective, of course, but also a key item check, and you're thinking to yourself, did my opponent make this really long check? That's, I think, generally maligned, and so looks like Elven is going to go ahead and lean into that and see if he can score another piece of value.
Yeah, no, this is spicy. JBrun went to the moon earlier, but Elven got one more piece of the puzzle, which means JBrun has to find the gauntlet.
You know, I think another interesting aspect of this is, once again, neither runner has found the pass, and so that kind of makes you maybe a little more hesitant to go to the moon. Like I said, hoping to kind of cut out some of that back and forth. If you pick up a pass, then go up there, get what you need, come back, turn it in, and you're done.
Actually, something I've forgotten, neither runner has checked Luca yet.
Last, just some Dragoon armor. I don't think either runner checked Mist Cave either.
Oh yeah, Mist Cave boss checks still abound, but Elven is potentially in face check mode. Actually, he's missing only 2 spots. An option for him is to, after this, check any last couple spots. You get a dwarf 2 peak, just quick check dwarf 1. You've checked the Feymarch, check Luca real quick, head to the moon, do cave value, leave a save, knock out the other 5 altars. You check elements while you go to the giant, and if it's not there, well, then it's in the tower key or the package, and you're really, really sad, but them's the breaks.
Rando's gonna rando, and sometimes it randos hard.
Hey, it's a sweeper!
A little late, but we'll take it. I mean, already up on the moon. I'm
One-
not sure how quickly you're turning around and going back to Poison Treasury. Hey, it's a
mean-
sweeper!
All it takes is one trap chest, like, say, the double mobile trap chest, which you even always easy to sweep, and then, well, or Cave Bahamut, and, well, there you go. Quake's online, you have a sweeper. Enjoy!
And you're already still on the overworld, and it's the guy, Cecil.
Yeah,
This is
he
a
exists.
powerhouse of a Zot. Yeah, not exactly the values you normally see
That-
here. I think
Might explain a little bit why we were lacking a bit with two of them being restricted characters. Ooh, that's tough. Oh, who are we making our anchor? And it could also just be Cecil. Or we could be forgoing an anchor. That's not a gauntlet.
that is a sparkle.
That's not a gauntlet. Did anyone remember? Did anyone see who was at Dwarf 2?
It's going to be a very lakey dwarf castle with Ruby. So, I mean,
So-
like you said, I think the nice thing there is you can run in. If you're not feeling like you need that key item check, you just run in, check that first spot, and face check it. One of the little bit of benefits out of doing Zot.
If we get the package or the tower key, I would be a little surprised if we don't go and do that.
Oh goodness, I think the race that's decided on a package gauntlet will be vaunted and remembered forever, because that would be amazing.
Oh, did not take. Looks like we didn't take the Cecil, so I just.
Yeah, I think kind of keyed over Iridia for half a moment and then decided to go and let the Cecil go.
Which you have Kane, that's nice DPS Zerker. You have Rosa, also works just fine. You've got lots of Berserk users. You've got Fu with a lot of Wisdom Gear and Nuke to help out. You've got the power. Why take the effort of... I mean, if you had to anchor and you go Sylph instead of boss checking, that would get you your power real fast and levels, but yeah. And actually, unironically, with what... Oh, wait, no, we have a Dragon Whip somewhere.
Yeah, Dragon Crystal Sword is
Never
making
mind.
very
I was
short
about to
work
say,
of...
we have those already... Wait, no, we have a Dragon Whip. No need. Never mind. Goodbye. Alrighty. Elvin going to the moon, so he might be going key item mode with the moon. Might just be checking Cave Bahamut first.
Yeah, I mean, Cave Bahamut could be your gauntlet. We know it's not.
He
but that could be
also
double
still
hard.
has the Odin Thrones. 3 plus maybe Miss Cave Earth checks for the gauntlet left, or it's on the moon or giant. Did JBrun check who was at Elements?
Elements was Antline and took a very fast reset out of there. So if it's at CPU, it's staying there.
I mean, again, that's why I think if Elvin goes face check mode, he goes like Earth, Moon, Giant. So you're like, well, I might not want to do the fight, but it's my last available spot in CPU, and it's a 33% chance to be there at that point.
Yeah, and I think with the spot that Elvin's in too, if you go bottom up on the moon, you've got a high density of boss checks and key item checks. So it's actually really alluring, I think, on my, at least in my thinking, to kind of go do that, because you can get a little bit of a 2-for-1 deal. You got the power, blow those spots up, hopefully pick up that that gauntlet, and if not, pick up some key items instead.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It'll be interesting to see if Elvin goes key items or at this point. Could always do that hedge with both, but
Or could just do hair dryers and pick up that adamant rock. Wow. So don't need to go
that's
deep for the
scary.
value on the moon.
That's scary. Where is oh, it's JBrunTR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JBrun. So I think the question
He
is
needs to
does
find the
Elvin?
gauntlet now.
Mm-hmm. He needs to make some cheeky plays because he definitely has to be feeling
Or
behind
do
with that late
Baron.
darkness.
If he does Baron, that should still have enough time, but
I mean, certainly with Baron, it is 3 boss checks.
actually, this does make some sense. If he pivots to boss check mode, yes, he's missing 3 spots and has the 4th kind of in Zot 1. But if he just chooses to gamble on Gauntlet on the, this gets him the ability to not need to double walk. You just check the moon top down and don't have to go back to Earth ever.
Well, that is a very good point. You could save scum after this check, go do all your face checks on the moon, and if you zonk, you can reset out pretty quick and go back to face check mood down here.
Couple charm rods. Oh,
Ooh.
sadness.
You thought Scrap was bad, folks. Well, you ain't seen nothing until you seen Perseus arrows.
Scrap's still worse. Scrap is literally nothing. At least Perseus arrows, you can pretend with that arty bow it's your anti-ogre method. Ooh, and we're going to dwarf. I think JBrun might be feeling face check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the question is once he sees that second boss.
Okay.
Just note him. So once he sees that second boss, which was Ruby, does he reset, or do you feel like I'm already here? Maybe it's Earth Crystal, and you sit through.
I actually, with this play, I would not be surprised to see JBrun head to Baron short. Doesn't look like we have the dragon whipped on Elven's side, so taking a little bit more time on the fight.
Yeah,
we have the ice brand, so we're doing half damage.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Also, one of the less fortunate things about that flame whip, it'll give you that boost, but that flame, when it comes to bosses like Pale Dam, also drags you down.
Okay. Spot 1 done. Quick character check. I kind of like this party, but maybe Fu just slots in if it's there. Fu slots in if it's there. But
if you find them off in the corner of the crystal room, maybe you take it.
It's a Cecil.
Yeah, not at this point.
You have a gauntlet, but you got double Zerker, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where's Elvin go? He fires. Year's leg. And I think honestly a virus with the gear might even have killed, or an ice too. Uh-oh. And Elvin is fading hairdryer. For now.
Yeah, choosing the head-on in. I think JBrun's going to be in a really interesting position here because he did pick up that Powell. I mean, you've got Quake, and maybe it's burning a hole in your pocket.
Now might seem interesting for JBrun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So do you go face check, or do you think, where is that Earth Crystal, and can it be down there?
Power key or package might push him towards boss mode, but lack of those, I don't know.
Yeah, no, this has been a fantastic
Could always
race.
be worried about double required Zot, which we know isn't the case, but could be.
Mm-hmm. A lot of fun divergence from our racers here tonight.
I don't know who's gonna win.
Yeah, it's really down to how
like
this
it was really looking like Elvin, but with that hairdryer's fade, he's not going to find a key item on this moon that matters unless it leads to Gauntlet.
Yeah, they both kind of have the clairvoyant pickup with the adamant rock from hair dryers and the earth crystal from Baron, and now it's just where's that last piece of value? Where's that last little key for him?
All right, where's JBrun going? Where's Luca? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like Luke a lot here, especially when you're face check mode.
It's a minute and a half for either your last key item or a boss or another boss check. If it's a boss check, we'll see what mode JBrun's feeling like if he pulls it out. Like if it's the package and he pulls it out, we know he's feeling like he needs a, because he had those early problems also.
Yeah, probably feeling like maybe you got to take an extra gambler or two.
Yeah, with Sweeper is very early accessible with that ordeal, darkness leading to Palom, so he might not even be feeling like his opponent could easily have done Sylph as well. It's so hard.
Yeah. Well, I think the other aspect of checking Luca is if it is value, now that you have that the Palom, you can warp out of there. You know, before you would have to walk a very long walk out.
Crystal Sword Altar. Does Elven fight it? It's the gauntlet! Oh,
there it is!
Okay.
It's the correct color palette.
Get this thing off our screen.
Yeah, also one of those really awful ones that just has a boatload of HP. Was it something like 40,000?
Check the boss and then reset. I think that's advantage Elven, simply because we don't have the... If we had the pass and JBrun went Baron, it'd be very, very, very close.
Absolutely. He would need to make it his next check. Which he is. Wow, this is getting really interesting.
Baron's about 4.5 minutes. This gauntlet's about a minute, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
We're still on the first fight. Oh, no,
Safe's getting a miss cave
first, which is
fair enough. Yeah.
So JBrun's definitely feeling boss mode, but wants to get rid of
a little bit of vanilla. I don't know if we had a dose of vanilla tonight, so we needed one.
Oh, this would be so close if JBrun had the pack.
Oh goodness, I imagine if you're Elven right now, your heart's probably beating out of your chest. You know you got go mode, you're on the moan. You have that early darkness, although that would be the one thing is if you're feeling maybe a little nervous, like, why didn't I do this sooner?
I mean, do you want to do this gauntlets? We didn't get the dragon whip till I'm pretty sure the hook round, so I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. An early gauntlet up here, man. If you want levels, you're surely gonna get them, but getting through it is half the battle, though.
Alrighty. Okay, this one's fine. If we have the Dragon Whip equipped, that'll be really good, but I don't know that we've been equipping that Elven side. He might have forgotten he has it, or might not even have looted it. I don't remember if I've seen it on him ever. Okay, going for a Quake. Out of MP on Palom's side. This is fight 3 for Elven. Got about 3 more minutes of Baron, and then about another minute for the Earth Crystal, so about 4 minutes for the Crystal on JBrun, so about...
Yeah, this is a pretty tight race here. I think a bit of an advantage towards Elven is this is a really nice stack of levels for him. This gauntlet is not only an objective, but his grind, because
he's not worried about Z.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, I guess we only have the one crystal sword, so it's not free, but it's doable. Just
Yeah.
annoying, Z is for JBrun.
Want to talk annoying? Bimmy is a little annoying as well, and perhaps a bit spooky.
Resist the crystal sword, resist ice brand, resist any spear, resist a fire sword, resist lightning.
It does it all, folks.
You don't have the dragon.
It slices, it dices.
You don't have that dragon whip. Alrighty.
Yeah, thankfully enough armor to kind of keep yourself alive. No heat ray that's really gonna smoke you like Jimmy would, but still gonna be longer than I'm sure you're feeling comfortable
we have
with
crystal. We have loads of crystal rings that I think are on the back row mages, so they're not dying to punches.
Imagine it's more your own impatience of knowing that crystal's coming on the other side of this, and you just want it to go that much faster.
Yeah, Nuke is a good spell for these, but don't try Fire 3. They may absorb fire magic.
A little bit of a psych out from the blue dragons.
They use Blizzard. They're ice. The red dragons are weak to ice. So clearly the blue dragons should be weak to fire. Ow.
Clearly lots of things make sense about this game. Like good old Mylon Z flying. One of the other fun little idiosyncrasies.
There's the slow fight for Elven. This is the Earth Crystal heading to JBrun's side. This is the final fight for Elven. Clear this. He gets his crystal, just walks to Z. So probably about a 3-minute advantage for Elven and levels.
Yeah, I think I've been so excited by this gauntlet fight over here. I haven't been paying too much attention to JBrun's team levels here. Like I said, I imagine
they're enough.
Mm-hmm.
In this flag set, it doesn't take much. You might see a treasury trying to get or two, but that's only if you're worried about your damage out. All right, we're about to go and get the crystal like near simultaneously.
I mean, you're already there, and that.
There's the crystal for Elven. There's the crystal for JBrun.
French vanilla reward from the Crystal Sword Altar and a white spear. So both of our runners in go mode with their path to Z, and this is going to be a tight one.
Yep. Elven has the levels. He has the power. It should be fine, and it's fully expected at this point that he'll get the win, but JBrun's really pushing it.
Yeah, and you can never count Z out. You know, every time you think you've got that fight in the bag, there can be that really unfortunate counter nuke.
Yeah, leaving a save, we've got a lot of looks like we're pivoting over primate. Looks like we're pivoting to okay, Black Sword, so getting the good stat stick. What do we got? Okay, we do have 255. There we go, 2 good Zerkers. So I think I would like if you had like Porum and Kane swapped, so you can Zerk Kane, Zerk, and then have Porum Zerk Rosa, but it'll be fine.
Absolutely. I mean, Fu kind of brings in that third white mage and gives you a few more options because you can double Zerk and toss a slow to nerf.
Speaking of swapping Porum and Kane, there we go.
3 for 3, Joe. Been making some great calls tonight.
Well, walking to Z with the crystal always, always. If you haven't seen the done of opponent,
and it is a long walk to think about a lot of things and contemplate your life and how you got to this point.
It gives you time to think about your party or what you need. But
And maybe muse about why all these Z flags are showing up in chat.
If JBrun's worried I could see Bimmy and Jimmy or Jimmy and Jimmy done, I think we're past that point. Or no, we're just reaching that point. So, but I don't think he needs any levels, and he probably also doesn't.
No, just speeding right. Oh, no. Doing a little bit of a detour.
What are we doing? Nope. Okay, not doing Bimmy and Jimmy, just doing Jimmy and Jimmy. Fair enough. That's fair. But we have these Z flags.
I think it is really close to nap time, but I digress. I think in this case, chat is probably asking themselves, whose butt are we going to kick and whether it's going to be a cute one. I sure hope so.
There's some cute ones, there's some scary ones, there's some fun ones. It's... lamingness.
It's unfortunately flying right over my head, but it does look pretty cute, though.
Yep. I do the same thing all the time.
Yeah, one of the I don't want to call it a drawback, but one of those things with having over 600 Z sprites, there's a lot to see and a lot I don't know. Elven, interesting, making the choice to do that initial Big Bang nerf with a nuke spell rather than go with something like a slow.
And we have Zerkers, slows. I don't think we're going to exist in Meteor phase, so pushing the damage versus a slow makes a lot of sense. It takes 2 slows if you don't have a Silk Web to get the Zeromus to RA2 anyways, so makes a lot of sense. 47, what's Rosa hitting for if we're seeing about 6,000, 5,000? We're maybe in Wombo territory where we see a Big Bang into a Meteo, but with that Kane's HP, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Exactly. As long as you get a heal in there, or maybe get a cheeky dodge, he'll do perfectly fine wrapping up Z in that final phase.
The slightly more interesting fight, although with that double red dragon worth of XP, maybe not even at this point, would be JBrun, I think.
Yeah, JBrun coming in hot, very close behind, but really going to need some increased damage output to make up that difference with Elven well underway and past that first Big Bang.
Alright, here's the shake. 1 hit. That's might be the tip. Alright, here's the nerf. It's a nuke, so it probably won't nerf, but it might kill. And GG's to Elven.
In fact, it does. GG's to Elven, taking first place in this race and striking first blood in his best of 3 series with JBrun.
Oh yeah, this is definitely was a fun one for just a game 1. We still have potentials of game 2 and 3. That was fun.
Yeah, this was a real fun one. Lots of really great divergence from our runners, and I think a lot of opportunities for both of them to probably feel behind and make some really interesting plays. So, well run by both of our racers here. JBrun going into the Z fight doesn't have that foo, so doesn't have access to nuke, but still making really great progress. And with that ding, we are joined by elvensorrow. Elvin, GG's on your win tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. GG to JBrun.
Yeah, really
Yes.
close race from the both of you. Very curious, Elvin. You picked up that darkness crystal really early with that check of ordeals. When you were coming back up from the underground, how long in your mind was that Baron planned, or was it kind of morphable? Like, did you have a thought to how soon you wanted to go to the moon?
My main thought was I didn't think that JBrun, I wasn't trying to metagame, but I didn't think that he would check that super early. So I'm like, okay, I can keep that in the back of my pocket. That was mainly it. Like, believe me, I wanted to go up there, but I needed the power levels, you know?
Makes sense. And on that Baron check, is that something you tend to like doing, or what kind of really pushed you to add Baron as like your last check or two before the moon?
I can't really give you an honest answer because it's kind of a wild card, and I just kind of do whatever I want to do.
Makes sense.
That I took that wipe at Golbez at Baron, and I felt really behind after that. So then I was like, I'm just gonna rush it, gonna rush it. And then once I got to the moon, I'm like, you know what? I've heard about this Demarin thing where you check the crystal altar, and sure enough, it worked out for me. The one time the randomizer goes in my favor.
It sure gave you the levels for Zeromus.
Oh yeah, it did, and I'm so glad I did. But at that point, when I went to the moon, I think the only checks for the gauntlet was behind package or the giant. I think I had checked everything else, or maybe Luca. I didn't check Luca, but I was like, I have access to everything except for like a couple. So I'm like,
Yeah, you were only missing two. There was the giant, so Dwarf 1 was the thing we were curious if you were going to add that or Luca before you went to the moon, but was not necessarily surprised to see if you were in boss mode.
I forgot Dwarf. Oh my god. I always forget Dwarf Castle.
I mean, you knew what Dwarf 2 was.
Do I? Because I don't.
Well, fine.
I had the information. I had the information, but I don't remember what it was.
That's been a bit.
Dude, this is like my fourth seed today, alright? It's a little...
Seed bleed is real. I think the other question I had is, coming off Azat, you picked up that foo, which is a great pickup up there. Did you have a thought about taking the poison treasury in Sylph Cave, or were you pretty committed to heading to Moon at that point?
So the treasury, the Sylph Cave stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was like, dude, I don't have a sweeper. I'm not going down there.
Yep.
When I saw Foo, though, I'm just like, let's go to the moon. He's got nuke. He has to have nuke by now, so let's just go.
Interesting. So that nuke ability outweighed it.
Cecil. I got rid of Cecil. But
your party was great.
Oh, but I mean, good reason to get rid of Cecil. But I mean, the one complaint I have about this seed is I did not find Sid. Where was Sid?
Let's see. Six
That is-
characters.
That is a
Maybe
question
giant
for
or
the ages.
package. Could have been Sand Ruby, or he might be on vacation.
Yeah, he could be in a beach somewhere with Tella having Mai Tais.
Well, I mean, it sounds fun.
Better than going up to the moon and fighting Ultimate Evil, I say.
Also, I'm just reading some chat, and it sounds like me and JBrun were at the hook about the exact same time.
Yes.
And
You had pretty much all the overworld versus a couple early game kerfluffles led to a little less of the overworld. JBrun, boy, did you go down the hook route at the same time.
Yeah, and you both tackled Tower pretty much simultaneously, but right after Tower is where you diverged quite a bit and ended up with different go modes in the end.
Yeah, I need to watch this back. Did he fight the gauntlet? I don't know if he did.
Nope.
Oh no, where was the forge?
Air dryers.
Oh my god, I almost checked that too. But at the same time, the gauntlet gave me those levels, so I really lucked out there, getting the first altar with the gauntlet. So I lucked out. RNG, rando gonna rando.
Oh yeah. It made for a very exciting and fun race.
But it
If
sounds-
you watch it back, enjoy it.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it back. But it sounds like JBrun probably outplayed me. I just got luckier. That's what it sounds like to me.
Your early game was certainly very nice, gonna say, but I just hope you enjoy it.
Oh, I'll watch it back. Yeah, I love watching these back, especially with you two guys on comms. Woo! That's gonna be a good one to watch back. So
Well-
I don't want to take up too much time. I just thank you guys for all you do. Thanks, comms, Dubword, Joker, Beauty, Joe. Thanks everything for everything you guys do. And then once again, good game to JBrun. And tomorrow night we're gonna fight again, and I hope he brings the pain.
Looking
Well,
forward to it.
Yeah, and thank you for putting on a fantastic race tonight yourself as the runner.
All right, but I'll get out of your hair so you guys can interview JBrun.
GG's again, Elvin, and have a great night.
Yeah, you guys too. Thank you.
All right, well, great run by Elvin, and JBrun coming in just 3.5 minutes behind him. So you were just about on the money, Joe, with your estimate there on his Elvin's advantage.
Pretty much just the walk to Z.
Welcome in, JBrun. GG's on the race, and a very close one at that.
Oh, thank you.
So I think the first question that comes to my mind is picking up that darkness crystal on ordeals a little bit later. Were you feeling behind, or were you thinking that Elvin also had a late check of ordeals? How was that making you feel once you had that thing in hand?
Well, Ordeals has usually been like sort of a delayed check for just about everybody, I think. Just because of how long it is. And there's no guarantee of like a real key item at the end. But my worst feeling of being behind was right at the beginning. Trying to get through Eblin Castle. That was terrible.
Yeah, those traps can certainly go and do a couple different things.
Yeah,
Black
especially with
cats Black cats are rough.
yeah, and that really unlucky crit roll from that ogre too. You had the fight pretty short up until you got that unlucky punch.
Yep, I should have healed up, but I thought she could take like one last swing Get it done, but nope.
So heading up to the moon, you found that Palom on the altar and finally had a sweeper. Was there any thought in your mind to like, hey, do I pick up some levels for this kid and maybe take on Sylph Cave and get through those chests with the Quake ability that he gives you?
I think at that point it was either finding Gauntlet or Forge. I think.
Right after Cave Bahamut, you got the Fires. So after that point, it was Gauntlet or Crystal for you.
Yeah. So at that point, it really became a search for the Gauntlet, which didn't turn up underground anywhere I checked. But it sounds like it was on the Crystal Altar.
Oh yeah, good old Evil Eye.
Yeah, indeed. I think the irony there is that searching for the Gauntlet, you still ended up with the Earth Crystal and the different Go mode.
Exactly.
Yeah. Rando has jokes sometimes.
Yes, it does. It looked like I was quite a bit lower level than Elven was as well.
10 key item Gauntlet will do that to you.
Yeah,
that was probably the main difference in level. And then power-wise, a foo from Zot was probably, again, the other main difference. Good work on... I know you were kind of just running around with... That definitely helped you out with the... If you hadn't been running around, would you have equipped Black Sword for the weakness, do you think?
Probably.
Yeah.
Race brain takes over.
That's fair. You have all of these plans, and then you're like, I got it. Then you just go blank.
Exactly. Yeah, it was the first game. Hopefully settle down for the next one.
It was a very great thing to watch. There were, for quite some time, did not know who was going to end up winning. So after seeing this game one, GG's, and I am looking forward to game 2, potentially game 3. Hopefully game 3.
Yeah, more games, more better.
Game 3s are always cool.
And especially when you put on the race that the two of you did, there was a lot of fun divergence. Essentially, once you all got off a tower, you went in very different directions, and it made for a very exciting race and well-run one as well.
Yeah, so that early game, I probably could have had him.
Well, any final thoughts on the seed or your upcoming game 2 with Elven before we log off for the evening?
Really just GG's to him. And thanks to you two for the commentary. I'll be sure to watch this back. See what tips you guys provide, which I'm sure there are some coming.
I hope you enjoy the watch back and have a good night.
All right. You guys too. All right, see ya.
All right, folks. Well, that wraps us up for the evening. Fantastic game 1 versus Elven and JBrun. Hopefully, we all get a chance to watch the series go to 3 because they put on such a fantastic show.
Oh, yeah. It was a real nail biter throughout the...
Absolutely, but that's going to end it for us tonight. I wanted to give a shout out once again to our restream team tonight, Joker Mage with the restream, Dubward with tracking, pushing those buttons, and hopefully not eating too many, and Joe for joining me in the booth tonight. Thank you very much for joining me for a commentary.
It was a pleasure. You were real fun to do comms with. always be happy to do it again with.
Likewise, Joe. So tonight we are going to send you all off to RPG Limit Break, who is doing their Quest for Glory 6 marathon, currently running Chained Echoes with good friend Moonblaze Wolf on comms. So stick around for that raid and for some great speedrun in action. Have a great night, everyone.
Woo! We made it.
Ooh, GG's, everyone.